Welcome to the Agent from Within podcast, the only podcast that's here to develop the real estate agent as a human being, to help you get out of your own way, to actually align yourself to what you really want in your life and then build a real estate business around that. We have to focus on the person behind the strategies. Yes, this is going to be filled with tactics, business advice, amazing interviews. But if you're not in the right place mentally and emotionally, you will self-sabotage your business. You will chase, you will compare. This is about creating the best race car driver, not just the best race car. Any race car driver can jump into any car and win the race. We need to develop you as a human being. This is the only place that real estate agents can actually focus on growing yourself and growing your business. Cheers. We're going to move on to buyer mailouts. This is something that I've been evolving, and I don't like bringing things to the table until I've kind of tested and tried them and have some kind of proven evidence. So here's the thing, guys. First of all, I'm going to show you the evolution of what I've built. And then I'm going to show you actual visuals of all the mailouts. I've got them all organized. So I'm going to do some screen sharing here for the people on the audio. You're not going to be able to see it, but I'll try to read some of this stuff. So buyer mailouts, tell me this, quick discussion. What is it about buyer mailouts? What is a buyer mailout? Have anyone ever done it? What's the ideas around it? Please explain, guys.
Buyer mailout, someone, or you have a buyer and you do a mail out saying, hey, we got this person that's looking in your area, give us a shout. We do it from them.
And what if you don't have a buyer? Have you seen those ones go out?
Yeah, I've seen the ones that are saying like, there's lots of buyers in the area buying homes, there's lots more left. Doesn't necessarily have to be about a buyer that you have. It's just contacting them.
Have you seen that there's a whole teaching about the yellow letter? There's a whole yellow letter teaching where you send out the letter. You did it in investing as well. Hey, I want to buy your house. That's another strategy. But honestly, guys, the buyer letter is really built on a bait and switch strategy. Do you guys understand old school, dirty, rotten, used car salesman style tactics? Is you tell them one thing and then you quickly switch them to another. So it's like, hey, I've got a buyer. Hey, please call me. And then they call you. Oh, my buyer just bought. What do you got to list? That is the buyer strategy. But remember, guys, anyone that's known me for a while, there's a study I base everything I do on, and it's a study by, it's on my podcast, Niblick. And he did a study, that's the 7-year study on, and he came out with the most successful 200 million plus people are always authentic and always self-aware. The problem is authentic, it doesn't match. If I was to do a fake buyer's mail out, it doesn't match authenticity. Authenticity is genuine and real. So I have enough self-awareness that my business will not be built on a lie. I'm sorry, but I guarantee you it'll be a very weak foundation. You might make a deal or two and it might work for a while, but it's going to be it'll have a hit on my culture, hit on my integrity, and the longevity of my business if I mess with integrity, which is authenticity. So what we do is, what I did was I thought, man, I saw a lot of guys getting results on this. And I thought, how could I do this honestly? But before I go to the buyer mailouts, I wanted to try hacking the actual mailout, which I judge it all the time. I'm saying, yeah, it's a recycle marketing plan because people get stuff in the mail and chuck it in the garbage. How many people actually get mail and just, like a spam mail and read it? Like mostly none. That's why it's a 1% to 3% conversion. That's why you got to send out 1 million flyers just to get a lead, and you got to do it for a bunch of years to get lucky. I hate those odds. Remember, I judge everything by the world-class client experience, which is the how much value can I leave them, and then also to the point where they react like, oh, wow. Can I do a mail out that says, oh, wow, and does it have a converting mechanism? Please remember, that's how you want to grade marketing. Does it create an emotional reaction in a positive way? And does it give you a chance to have a converting mechanism, which they come back to you, or gives you the ability to engage and bring the relationship to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the converting part. So what I did was, the first one was Canada Trivia. Okay. So I've been doing Canada Trivia for a long time, but what I did was I didn't just do a flyer. I executed a marketing plan and I did it like a ninja, because what I did was I did 9,000 flags. I recruited 20 people at like $50 a piece. I got in the middle of the night. People woke up and the entire neighborhood had 9,000 or even, I think it was 9 or 10,000 flags. So people woke up in the morning and saw flags everywhere on Canada Day. And in the Canada Day was this. If you take a look, if you look on the screen, I've got a brochure that I've made. It's a one-page brochure with a big hole in it in the corner because that's where the flag went. We've jammed the flags in the ground and we asked the trivia question. Everyone's probably seen this. It's got amazing prizes and it's also got what Team Osterveld's all about. So here's the thing. I got 2 listings and a buyer out of that instantly. Okay. But what we did was we actually put big, gigantic signs at the front of every single, plus like 15 of these signs that said, Happy Canada Day from Ben Osterveld. So it wasn't just a flyer. I had to get some wow factor to it. So instead of just sending a flyer, I did the flags and I did the big wow factor and I ran a contest. I got over 150 people to play that game. Now I'm still in touch with them today. I know Adam on my team is actually doing a deal with a lady because from that list, we marketed our buyer's dinner. And from the buyer's dinner, we got her in there. And now she's buying and selling with one of my team members, Adam. So that's one. And here's the thing. Then I thought pumpkins. So remember, the problem is I was marketing neighborhoods. Okay. So this is the thing. I built all of this around marketing a neighborhood or a location. And so what I did was I delivered same neighborhood, but I did 1,000 hand-delivered pumpkins, but I created the converting mechanism, which is the contest. I delivered also I got a die cut. If anyone knows a die cut, it's just a cutout brochure, and it was a hard kind of like a business card material, and it looked like a pumpkin. So when they got that in the mail, it said pumpkin carving contest. And I did 9,000 of those. I ended up getting a couple listings, and I also got about 150 more people on my contest list. Then I get to go deliver the contests. I put them in the newspaper. I hand delivered the winners. So when you're doing anything like this is why I was winning when I was doing this, is because it wasn't just a flyer. So I used flyer as part of the system, but it's not a good just on its own system. And because again, low return, and you got a ton of flyers you got to send out and you hopefully get lucky. Then I'm going to show you a different one. I thought, how could I just do a flyer without a contest and have the value? Because a contest is very expensive and it's a massive undertaking. And so what I did was I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. I wanted to tell the whole mail out area, the 9,000 that I was hitting, that I did soft launch listings. So I'm going to show you this thing right here. So this is the flyer I sent out to 9,000 people. And it just talks about what is a soft launch, what it is, who needs it. Sellers are not quite ready to sell. Maybe they're in a renovation, but we end up listing your home before it's even ready. How do you save commissions? But then it says, turn it over for a free gift. Here's the high value. It shows 3 different properties that are completely in the soft launch listings that aren't on MLS. And half the page is show this flyer and get 6 free cookies. And this is Confetti Sweets. So I made a deal with her that I could give away. First of all, I said, would you mind if I could give away 1 free cookie? Because I wanted my flyer to have some value. A piece of paper has no value. So I added a free gift. So I put 6 cookies. She's all over it. She ended up getting nobody to return it and no return on that. So it's really interesting. So I'm showing you the testing that I've done. There wasn't really a converting. I thought it was high value. I did have one client that said we kept that because we knew that you were the guy that we wanted to talk to. So I'm burning through this to get to the buyer mail out. Now, the next one we did, this is the one here that was, and if anyone's ever been to my events or anything, I've shared this at my event. So this was a business card size in a white envelope. The inside was a handwritten note, and it shows a military guy with a Canadian flag. It could be an American flag or whatever. And it just says remember, and it shows a guy's helmet, and he's kind of obviously passed away. This was a mail out I did for the 9,000 as well. And the mail out actually was massive impact. The massive impact, because I got handwritten letters from senior citizens. I probably got about 5 or 6 of them, but I was busy and I didn't follow up. So this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. I'm going to have Colin share here in a second. But what it is everything you do in real estate is a long game. You got to remember it's a long game. If I would have stayed in touch with those 6 senior citizens and stopped by, dropped them off, a gift, stop in, just say hi, thanks so much, and I went through that process, I would have had 6 listings guaranteed, because the emotional reaction I got from giving away poppies in that letter with a handwritten note was huge. But again, I didn't play the long game. I didn't get anything, not $1 from that marketing. Now, the next thing is, we thought about this. This is what happened. This is where the buyer's mail out came in. If you guys remember any kind of events or any coaching I've done, you might have heard this before, but the Tim letter was the first one. What I had was, I had a client I sold a property from. It was a hot market, and his kids were in a certain school, and we needed to get him to live in an area. There was about 1,400 homes total that he could actually buy in the area, and there was only 15 listings in the area. So I said, would you mind? I came up with this idea. And the idea was to get the letter sent to all the neighborhood from Tim, telling his story about needing a house, endorsing Ben, versus a real estate agent goes, I've got buyers. I wanted my client to endorse me. Here's how it looked. This is
and just to jump on this conversation, that's exactly how I found our house. I door knocked with, I just call it the Tim letter.
Yeah. You took the Tim idea. Yeah. That's amazing. This is probably the most powerful marketing I've ever done. Is this. It says, good afternoon. My name is Tim Lancaster. I'm looking for a home in Sherwood Heights or Maple Grove. My kids go to Campbelltown, and we have really like to live in the area. We are currently looking for a home to buy. I have sold my home in Clarkdale Meadows, and we move on the 30th of June. My realtor, Ben Osterveld, has been a huge help in selling my home, and came up with this idea to connect to people directly in the area to find a home not listed on the market. I'm very happy with the idea, and I agreed to share my story with you. If you're interested in selling your home to me, I would appreciate you calling my realtor, Ben Osterveld, so he can see if it fits my family criteria. He is not a high pressure guy. He is just trying to help me and my family find a next home. It has a picture of my business card. This is my realtor. And then it says, this is my family. And it's a picture of him and his kids. The letter that went out was a white envelope, handwritten. All that was on the front and the middle said, from Tim. That's it. The open rate would have been insane, because who's not going to open up a white letter that says from Tim? It looks like a hand dropped off letter. It's not marketed. It's not fancy, barely branded. And the letter was very amateur hour. I ended up out of 1,200 homes. I ended up getting about 9 potential listings. Those calls. We did not find a home from him. We ended up buying a home that was on the market, but I got 9 potentials. Now, again, guys, the follow-up is key. I didn't follow up because I'm building a coaching business, and I had another team member involved. And the thing is, follow-up is where most of the money's lost in this business. So what we did was we started looking at different ways to market buyers. So on my website, you can see that we actually market buyers. I don't think we do a great job at it right now. It's not been a huge focus, but it's on there. We put it on there. And what it is like a dating site in a sense, where you go to the website and you can actually look at all of our buyers with their criteria. So far, that's been really cool. We've gotten a few different leads, and also a lot of real estate agents asking us about our buyers. It actually works. It just needs more attention to it. What we did, though, is we combined that with a mail out. The first mail out, this is where Colin and I did a mail out in Sherwood Park. This is what it looked like. So this is what it looked like. It says, we have a guy ready to buy in your neighborhood. Call ASAP. And it's handwritten on top of this marketing. It's a picture of us. And then it's a picture of the website, kind of where the card is. It's like, hey, it's up to 600,000 anytime, bungalow, newer or newer renovated, 2-bedroom, 2.5 baths down, double or triple car garage. Darren is one of our qualified buyers. We have already sold his place, so he's now just looking to move. Possession can be immediate, or it can wait a few months. We are willing to work with a seller. He is looking for someone who wants to sell a house that is not yet listed. There will be a very low stress transition for both of us, seller and buyer. There's no financing issues, no cold feet, no hassles. That's the Team Osterveld difference. We have pre-qualified buyers ready to go. Now, that was a while ago. Colin, how long ago was that?
I think I'm trying to remember right now, because I think it was like last February or March.
So what is it now? So it's July. So we're looking at what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
about a year and a half ago. So what was how many calls? That area. So let me give an example. That was one we did with Colin, and I did another one in a different area that was a little older neighborhood in Edmonton versus the kind of preppy Sherwood Park, where it's hyper competitive real estate world. I did Edmonton, and I did an area where there's more older generation, older houses, Otwell, different area. We got about, how many did we get on yours? 3 or 4 calls?
Yeah, only a couple.
We were kind of disappointed, but on Adams, I think the total of the both mailouts together was like 16 calls for potential listings.
Yeah.
So that area definitely has something to do with it. But here, tell your story. How did it go, Colin?
Yeah, like I had one lady there, and it's funny though we're having this conversation now because I just sold her house on Friday and she bought one. Well, they're both pending right now, but it took a year and a half of nurturing with that one. I don't know how many times I showed her house when it was not even on the market to people. Probably showed her like 30 or 40 houses, but it was all about just staying in touch. And then even when we had her house listed for a week there, I was able to pick up a buyer off it too. So yeah, it was just a lot of time and effort put into that one.
And that's the reality of real estate. It's like, it's the long game. Like it would have been so easy not to follow up, right, Colin?
Yeah.
So easy. So the thing is, when you're doing a buyer's mail, you have to look at it as building your long game. And did you drop off something at her house at Christmas last year?
No, because I remember. So yeah, I remember now. So we had a CMA booked, and then like 2 hours before I was supposed to go do it, she canceled. She goes, "Sorry, I'm not interested in selling my house." So I already had this whole CMA built. So we're like, well, I'll just go drop it off in her mailbox. So sure enough, I did. And then I don't think I heard from her for about like 2 months after that. I thought it was just dead in the water, but because I dropped off that CMA, she went through it, and then she called to have some questions on it when she got serious about selling again.
So,
then we did Christmas stuff too.
And then so the idea is the buyer mail out is to build the Christmas drop off. If you can keep that in your head, obviously if there's a deal, we go after it like freaking lions. But the thing is, when we get any kind of potential, we put it on a list of all the different addresses that are eventually going to sell. And we start building that and building that. Eventually at Christmas time, you're not dropping off client gifts. You're dropping off wreaths, Christmas mats to people that don't even expect it. And that's what we do. That's where the Christmas drop-offs come, December 1st. We'll be doing it again. And because we've done a bunch of mail-outs and we keep on doing these mail-outs, we're building a huge list of potential listings. Now, think about this. What if then you go and find a buyer and the buyer goes, "I'm looking for this." You say, "Hey, look, we've got a marketing system in place where we collect a lot of addresses that are going to potentially list. If you want to use me, we have access to about 30 or 40 houses that we know that aren't on the market yet." You know how good that is to hook a buyer at an open house? I used to have the list with me. Now, the other thing, Colin, the reason why you got her first was a soft launch, right? Didn't we soft launch that or pitch that to her?
Yeah, but we never really did a soft launch. She was kind of all over the map with she wanted to sell one day because she saw something she liked, and then she didn't want it because it was gone. But
Yeah. So the purpose is long game, collect addresses. Sure. Like the problem is we grade a lot of the stuff we do by the immediate return, which I love to do. But there's a part of it, especially if you're doing a buyer's mail out, if you want to maximize the return, you got to keep organized and you got to keep consistent. So here's the thing, guys. This is something, though, the problem that we had with buyer mailouts was it very neighborhood focused. Like if we didn't have a buyer, we couldn't do a mail out. So we kept on kind of talking about it, and it started becoming very inconsistent. So what we're doing now, and this is right off the hop here, is we're trying to leverage the same kind of thing. Do you know the just listed letter? I'll show you guys one that we just did. The just listed postcard, very cliche real estate marketing. Okay. Where's the one here? So we did this one. This is what we tried. We're trying different things, and I'm good with changing and trying, and you got to test. And if you're not going to test, you learn every time. So what we did was I sold a couple properties in Clarkdale Meadows. Okay. So the thing is, what we wanted to do is we got permission from the buyers and the sellers to disclose what it sold for, because in this area, you can't disclose what it sold for and all the details. So we said, if you want to know how much they sold for, text this number. And that would go to my office number. We have an office cell phone number. And so this got us a few potential leads. But the thing is, again, everything comes back to ninja level follow-up. Follow-up, obsessive follow-up is how you win at this game. We can have the best marketing in the world, but if you don't got a good follow-up system, it's not going to work. It's getting on the phone and following up, stopping in, blowing their mind with some gifts. It's just this constant follow-up system. So again, I've done so many different mailouts. Here's another one that we did. Colin, I'll show you this. This is Adam's here that we did. We tried a different angle. Here's a share. So this is just a black and white letter. It says, honestly, we have a buyer. Brenda's an investor looking for a property this neighborhood needs, in this neighborhood that needs work. She renovates them and rents them out and sometimes sells them. She's more qualified than most and pays cash most of the time. Gives the criteria, a picture of Adam, and that's it. It was a white letter. We got very similar results to all the other buyer mailouts with that. Now, what we're doing now, though, is how can we leverage our sold listings using a sold idea, the sold postcard idea, with the we have a buyer. So this is what we're doing is we're combining them now. So this is what I'm going to be investing in for real, and this is working. We sent out a letter to an area that Adam had sold a property. The letter said this: hi, my name's Adam. I've just sold a house on McEwen Ave. We don't give the actual address or the price. I just sold it. It sold in 14 days above asking, or within 30 days, $5,000 below asking. We have invested a lot of time and money into this neighborhood, and we don't want to see it go to waste. If you're looking to sell, call us ASAP. We still have some buyers kicking around, and we've got a lot of momentum right now. We sent out a plain letter to the area. This way, we can systemize this on our listings. Here's the system. We pick the postal code, we do the letter, and we send it out. It's about $150 to $300 per listing. We ended up getting a call. Adam went and priced the house. Now, Adam went and priced the house, and you got to know, if you're doing buyer mailouts and you get a CMA, either you're lucky as hell or you're the second opinion. You're coming in as a second or third opinion, and you got to be on your game because you're coming in late, or you're just lucky and you're the only guy, which is crazy, but I would never think that way. Always think that you've got a competition going on. So Adam left, and he calls me, he goes, Ben, I really connected with this lady. I said, how did it go? He goes, she's a psychologist, and we had a really great conversation, and we went through that whole process, and that was really good. I said, okay, great. So you connected. Now what? Well, the husband wasn't there. Okay, we've lost the deal. Like, in my mind, I'm very aggressive when it comes to like anything that if we don't have it under contract, there's no way we've got it. So I said to him, what can you do right now to secure the connection that you made? I go, what does she like? And he went through it. He goes, oh, she was really bragging about red wine. I said, boom. Before you even finish your day, go buy some red wine, write a handwritten thank you card, and put it on her doorstep so she can actually, oh, just a sec here. So on the doorstep, so she can actually get surprised in the morning. He ended up doing that. They ended up calling and saying, would you do it for 6% on the first 100, 3% on the balance? Is how we price commissions here. They said, yeah, we'll definitely use you. We won them over. We just sold the property and made money off that mail out. I'm looking at creating a listing mail out on every single listing that has any, like, unless it's a real crap neighborhood you don't want to work in, that says, hey, we've got momentum in the area. We've just sold this house. Do you have a house that are you looking at selling? Because we've got a lot of momentum going on right now. So we've just sent out another one to the same area again, because we're testing the second mail out on the same area. So if we, over time, you'll start seeing this reputation being built. So far it's worked. So far we've made money, and it's a system that you can put in place that's not like, hey, I don't have a buyer. I don't want to do neighborhood marketing. But if you have a listing that just sold, it's just part of the system that goes out, part of the system. We pay for pictures. We pay for different things. Guess what? Boom, it's part of the system. So this is the goal, as long as it's giving a return. So far, it's made us one sale on one mail out. And so I want to keep doing this. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Do you have any questions on buyer mailouts or anything like that?
I got one, Vinny.
Let's go.
So who actually designs your guys' flyers or mailouts? Who does that?
I just use Canva.
Canva?
Canva.com.
Okay.
Bang them out. Google it. There's probably some there, like, just, you can even copy anything I got. All my stuff. If you're in the circle here, man, you can copy all that stuff. Just ask Deb. If you're in business from within, ask Deb for anything I got.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Thanks.
And then it's all done. So yeah, it don't get hung up on how good it is or how, like follow. I got so much stuff you can follow and just steal and
Swing it and then use Canva. That's it. Just copy it. Canva.
Yep, get it done, or hire an assistant for $12 to bang it out. You can. There's so many different things. Don't spend too much time on that. Okay, but don't make it commercial. That's my only advice. When you're designing something, you want to make it look authentic, right? So think about what you throw away, and don't do that. Like, hey, we've got buyers. Come on down, and we're the best. Or what? Like, if it sounds like a commercial, you're not going to just, like, how real does that sound? Hey, I just sold something in the area. Like, do you know what you could do? You could literally mail that out and door knock the area. Don't you think that's primed? Boom. How far do you want to take it? This comes down to belly. So sell the house, do the mail out. A week later, start door knocking.
Yeah.
Don't you want to hire that guy? I'd hire that guy all day. Like, I don't want to do that, I don't want to hire you then. Like, real estate agents need to hustle and work for me. Make sense? So How far do you want to take it? Again, it's about mental and limiting and beliefs and everything. James got a jet. Got clients? Or half the jet. Cheers. Okay, see you, James. He's taking his jet. It's a real literal thinker. So, guys, any other questions on buyer mailouts? Anything else? I know I've hit you with a bunch of stuff. I've showed you the evolution of where we've got, what we're doing. This is live. This is why coaching with someone that actually does the business is really cool. We're going to be constantly building and sharing as well. So, any advice, Colin, that you can put on the table on even how to take that phone call, like, and how to convert?
A lot of it's just kind of like adding value right off the bat when they call you. Because if you try to sales pitch them right off the bat, they just immediately can detect that you're trying to do something. Like, just like, say if they have a house for sale, like, yeah, like, I just sold one in the area. I got like 2 buyers off that are still looking. Like, what exactly do you have? And then just kind of feel them out. Like, it's more of a laid back conversation, like kind of like when you're in an open house, you kind of let someone come in, walk around, make small talk. You don't like run up to them right away, start pitching them on and say, this is a great house, you'd look perfect in it. Like, you got to be more like relaxed and kind of like just more casual conversation opposed to a sales pitch.
That's a really good point. I even like to look at it as a doctor. Like, if they're like, hey, so I got your flyer. Oh, what do you got? Okay, great. What's your address? Okay, great. I don't know if it's going to fit. Do you have bedrooms? Do you have this? Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Let me get back to you. I'll talk to my client. Cheers. Like, you could even just go with, like, you just go right into the data. Like, I don't want nothing from you. I just got to figure out if this fits us first. Like, that energy works. And that's kind of the natural, like, I'm being maybe a little bit too aggressive here, but it's pretty much a natural conversation. Oh, great. Sounds good. Yeah. What do you got? Okay, great. I don't know if it's going to fit. Like, to keep it low key. Yeah. Any salesy is gone. It's called feature dumping. Like, oh my goodness, you're going to be fit. Oh, I've got someone for you. I've got lots of buyers. You just let me come in. Like, gross. People smell it a mile away. It's totally right. It's totally just a conversation.